So what is a bridging loan? I'm going to explain that to you. I'm also going to explain how you can be prepared to get a super fast turnaround from a bridging loan. When used correctly, bridging loans can be powerful tools for property investors. They provide quick access to short-term funding for renovations, conversion, or flip situations where speed is crucial. So the thing about bridging loans, they're built for speed, but most clients aren't built for speed. The average time versus my record. So I did a bridging loan in just 10 business days. The average bridging loan takes 53 days. This case took 10 days, and here's how we did it. Let's just look at the client first. So this was not some big time property investor that has tens of thousands of projects under their belt. It wasn't that. This was a fairly new property investor. They had 2 buy-to-lets in their personal name and one residential property. The goal was to convert the buy-to-let into an HMO, so that's why they were raising the funds. They also wanted to pay down the mortgage on one of the other buy-to-lets. What we ended up doing was a 12-month bridging loan with a £500,000 funding. Now, they don't think they actually needed 12 months. They figured, and their builders and their experienced people that they've worked with said that they can turn the project around in about 4 months. But we've done a 12-month. That way, if things go wrong or if things are delayed, we don't need to be in a situation where we've done a 6-month bridge and we run out of time. So we've done a 12-month bridge, but if it gets turned around in 4 months or 5 months, they will only be paying interest on the 4 or 5 months that they kept the bridge. So that's the client profile. This is the standard profile for something that would move quickly. Someone who's prepared, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who has the finances in place to pay the upfront fees. What did it look like? So day one was the initial call. Someone watched one of my videos on bridging loans, and I really advise you to watch my videos because I do explain how these things are. So they watched my video, booked an appointment. We had a conversation. I explained the full process, the fees, and the timeline. So this individual was someone who found me online. They called me. We had a conversation. I told them what they needed to provide to me. I told them what some of the fees would be. They were okay with that. I sent them a client checklist. So the same day, within 20 minutes of getting off the call, I sent them an overview of our conversation and a checklist of everything that I would need to move to the next stage. Now, this is the key thing, and this is what I want to keep stressing. I pat myself on the back, but I need to really big up this client. The next day, they sent me everything that I needed. Why? Because they were prepared. They were going into this ready to move, knowing what they needed to do. And when they spoke to me, they actually listened to the things that I said I would need. But the fact that they were able to send it to me the next day means that they were prepared for this. Day 3, I provided an illustration, terms, and conditions. So I sent them over what the deal would look like, what the terms and conditions are, what the fees would look like, what the valuation would look like, potentially when the valuation could be done, what the solicitor's fees were, etc. Day 4, they paid all of the fees. So they also booked the valuation. So this is vital. As I said, you need to have your money ready. In order to get a bridging loan, there are some upfront fees that you will need to pay out of your pocket. So if that money is not available, that will delay the bridge. And this is one of the fastest ways of slowing down your deal. One of the easiest ways of slowing down the deal is just not being ready and not having your finances in order to get the process moving. So day 4, the lender fees were paid, my fees were paid, the valuation was booked. It took a few days for the valuation to take place. Some valuations can be done in 48 hours. Others may take a little bit longer. It's going to depend on how busy that particular company is as far as the valuations. But if you don't pay the fee, that won't even start. What ended up happening, day 7, the valuation was completed, or at least the reports came back on that day. So it may have been completed the day before. The reports came back and all of the legal stuff started to happen. Because this client already had a solicitor in place ready to roll to do the things that they needed to do, the solicitors started finalizing all the paperwork, all the solicitor stuff. So another quick tip, you need to have your solicitor ready before you start the deal. Your solicitor needs to understand what you're looking to do and what to expect from the lender. If they're an experienced solicitor who does this type of stuff all the time, they'll be prepared and they'll know what they need to do. So day 7, the valuation was completed, report came in. Day 10, funds released. So between day 7, and these are business days, between day 7 and day 10, the solicitors did what they needed to do. Day 10, funds were released. That's it. That was 10 business days. 10 business days from someone watching a video, calling me, and then getting their £500,000 bridge funded. They thought it out, they planned. Every time I communicated with him, he'd respond quickly. We communicated a little bit by WhatsApp, but the key thing is bridging is very fast. It can be very fast if you are prepared and you know what you are doing and you're willing to listen to your broker. How to speed up completion. So in this scenario with this particular client, preparation is everything. And with every bridging loan, in order to get those super fast turnarounds that everybody promises, preparation is vital. So have these things ready up front. Proof of ID and income. Even if you may not need to use them, because on some deals you won't need to prove income because of the property income. However, have proof of ID and income ready to roll. Don't make that delay the deal. Bank statements and SA302s. 80% of the people I do bridging loans for are self-employed. So have 2 years, SA302s and tax overviews ready to roll, your personal bank statements and your business bank statements. And make sure everything's tidy and ready to move forward to send to the lender. Existing mortgage statements, you want to know what the numbers on the existing mortgages are, interest rates, early repayment charges if you're paying it off. You want to also understand what the deeds look like. Are there any second charges on the deed? And you want to make sure that you have your solicitor ready. Property details and valuations. Have these things ready. Know what the numbers are going to look like. Work with an experienced broker, that would be me, a responsive solicitor, and a lender known for speed. The solicitor thing is key. Your solicitor can slow everything down. Remember, any mortgage is only as fast as the slowest person. So when you initially speak to a broker and they're like, yeah, we can turn a bridging loan around in 5 days, that's assuming everything goes right, everything is teed up, there's no issues. In reality, most of the time, it's not going to be 5 days. As I will explain, the average turnaround for a bridging loan is 53 days. And I would imagine that 53 days is based on a lot of delays by the client because the client isn't prepared. The client doesn't understand exactly what's required for the bridging loan. So the key takeaways for bridging: speed equals preparation and an experienced team. When you're doing a bridging loan, you don't want to be dealing with a broker who's never done it before. That will slow everything down. So find an experienced broker like me, someone who understands the product, someone who can prepare you and move your deal quickly. The average turnaround is 53 days. So when you speak to people, and I used to do this when I first started doing bridging loans, to be honest, I tell people, oh, they can turn them around in 2-3 days. They can turn around in 5 days and 10 business days, which I've now done. The speed is a direct reflection of how prepared the client is. But on average, the turnaround is 53 days. And it's not because of the broker, if they're like me. It's usually because there may be some issues with the properties, things on the deed, the solicitor is slow. So that's removing the responsibility from the broker as far as it being delayed. If your broker's moving fast and you're moving fast, I don't see it taking 53 days if your property details are as you said that they were, there's no issues with the deeds, and you are fully prepared. The specialist product is not for everyone. So let me just keep stressing this to you. A bridging loan is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I've seen it go horribly wrong. Usually it goes wrong because the client hasn't fully prepared. they haven't crunched the numbers, they haven't mitigated for delays, or maybe not getting the appraisal that they think they're going to get upon exit. It's not for everybody. This is why, if you're considering the bridging product and you know that you have projects coming up over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, start finding out about the bridging loan in advance. Understand the product, understand the property, understand and work with an experienced team that can give you some solid numbers and some realistic turnarounds if it's a renovation. Do not go into this because you saw someone on TikTok saying that this is the way forward. Always deal with an experienced team and an experienced broker. How I turned around a bridging loan in just 10 business days. It wasn't just me, although I am pretty awesome, but I also had a very responsive, well-prepared client. He was ready to roll. He had his documents in place. He had his funds in place. He had a good solicitor who was able to make sure that we moved at a quick pace. If you're planning a property project and think a bridging loan might be a part of the journey, now's the time to prepare. I don't mind you calling me and having a conversation with me about something you might be doing that I can talk you through what you will need if you decide to move forward. And if I feel that it's not the best product for you, I'll be honest about that too. I'm not here to sell you a bridging loan. I'm here to explain and unpack a product that might be a good tool for you. The smartest investors gather the right information before they need to, so when the opportunity knocks, they're ready to move. Even if you're not an experienced property investor, make sure that you reach out to me and have a conversation about bridging loans. As I said, I think bridging loans are one of the most underutilized and misunderstood products. Make sure you check out my other videos, because I do have videos where I go through home equity lines of credit, bridging loans, equity release, pretty much any product that you will have a question about. My name is Anthony Lindsay. Always remember that your home may be repossessed if you don't keep up the repayments on your mortgage. Specifically around bridging loans, make sure you've crunched the numbers, make sure that you've mitigated for delays, for overages as far as how much things are going to cost. Make sure that you've planned for the worst. So hope for the best, but expect the worst. Okay, so always be prepared for things not to go to plan. Make sure you have a solid exit strategy, and that exit strategy has been tested. That exit strategy is viable. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in trouble. I make these videos so that you can understand products. I'm not here to sell you anything. Certainly not here to give financial, legal, or tax advice. And I'm not here to replace speaking to an experienced broker who understands bridging, that you know, that you trust, that you can be open and honest with. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you leave comments on this video. That lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm adding value to you. If you know anyone that is considering doing any property investing and they need a mortgage, remortgage, buy-to-let, residential, or commercial, make sure you share this video with them. Thanks for watching. And as I said, be sure to subscribe.